How's volume, chat? If I'm not mistaken, I think generally the opening music is the loudest part.
Yeah.
Settings. Yeah, Stardew is kind of hella loud. Rebecca, I do want to look into Satisfactory. I just think I'd probably want to dedicate a proper stream to it. Because I would have had to have done it at the start of all of this. Is there a way to turn down the gosh darn music? What? There we go. We'll just have to do without music for now. Alright, guys. Oh.
Honestly, though, number one, don't forget to change what you're streaming. Number two, I think I'm gonna leave for the time being.
Okay.
I may be back, but like my brain ain't feeling Stardew. I'm sure you understand.
Fair
Yeah,
enough.
no problem. Thanks for hanging out.
Yeah. I'll maybe see you again soon.
Yeah.
And remember to do the things for the old 139, Sav.
Yes, please keep reminding me.
I will do that.
Right. So, guarantee 1 year completable. Am I bothered by that?
Yeah. If you wanted this to be a quick one, I suppose. Like, relatively speaking.
No, I'm always in it for the long game when it comes to Stardew, because it always sucks me in.
Yeah, fair enough.
Profit margin. I have no idea what that means. Whether the cabins are placed colors of overwave. Oh, multiplayer options, right. Okay. Right. Farm name. The old one was Eternal Farm, so...
Savvy Farm? Immortal Farm. Infinity Farm.
Chat.
Sustainable farming. Okay, sorry, stop.
Chat, hit me up.
Doom Farm. No, I think we've hit our quota for Doom for today.
Yeah. No, I have brown eyes. What am I doing? Hair color. Black.
By the way, I ain't streaming to Discord, if that matters.
Ah, let me do so.
Just so I can stay up to date and be able to commentate with you rather than the audience. I'm above those people. No, I'm not. Austin Glimmers, do not make me. But no, they're suggesting a Swagger Farm. We ain't much for swag around here.
Savvy Farm.
How many Stardew Valley farms do you think are just called Animal?
Plenty, I'm sure.
Would Lit be a good one? It's Lit Farm. Yeah, no.
Yeah, honestly, hairstyle 1 suits what I got going on, to be frank.
So much popping.
Jesus. Loads of options. More than 100 options. Jesus, man. Let's just go with something simple. Yeah. Comfy jumper or something. If there's any. Can I change my shirt color? No. Okay. So I'll find something that actually suits color-wise. Ooh. Yeah, pink shirt. Why not? Let's do... There we go. There we go. Right. Standard farm. Riverland farm. I think I did Riverland farm last time. Forest
Yeah,
farm.
well,
The wood limit your farming space, however, the bounty of the forest is nearly at your doorstep. Hilltop farm. Rocky terrain and winding river make it difficult to design your farm. However, a mineral deposit provides mining. Wilderness farm. There's plenty of good land here, but beware. And not the monsters come out. No, thank you. Divided into 4 parcels, each with its own perk. Perfect for a group. Beach farm. Good foraging and fishing. Tons of open space. Sometimes supply crates wash up. However, sprinklers don't work. Ugh. God, not keen on that. Any opinions, chat? I know we got some Stardew folks here in general. I wasn't a fan of how little space there was on the riverside farm before, honestly.
yeah, it was kind of unfortunate. I know it's meant for multiplayer, but I actually liked the Four Corners farm. Because it makes it easier to segregate stuff.
What is my favorite thing right now? Honestly, right now, I'm really feeling drawing.
Rebecca says she doesn't like anything but the basic farm.
Fair. I kind of want to try various farms, just to try them. But there's another beach farm where you can put sprinklers. Fair. Hold on. Stardew farms. I'm gonna look at them. Farm maps. Riverland sucks. Forest farm. Ugh. There's a rough layout as well. Not huge on that layout. Hilltop farm. Ooh, okay. Hilltop farm is interesting. Kind of neat in its own way. Bit difficult, but neat. Four Corners. Four Corners has tons of space.
Yeah, it has tons of space. It has a good amount of water. It has, foraging areas. It also has an area where you can mine stuff. So I actually really like the Four Corners personally.
All right. I'm going to try Four Corners. Skip intro.
Yeah, the only thing with Four Corners is that it takes a bit to unlock all 4 corners, but in all honesty, you're not going to use all 4 corners at once anyway.
Oh, you have to unlock them. Fair enough.
And when I say unlock them, I mean they're blocked by stuff that you need better tools for.
I see. Oh.
Rebecca Johnson. I love how your uncle has like 9 farms that you could take over.
You received 15 parsnips. Greek people. Settings. Where is the gosh down volume? Alright. Oh, back in it. Man, it's been a hot fucking second.
Yeah.
So chat, how y'all feeling? I hope this has been at least something entertaining in lieu of Chromarai. This has certainly been one of the strangest streams I've ever ran.
And that's saying something.
That is saying something. I don't usually do weird shit like that, but I am kind of... I'm feeling it. I think I'm gonna do it in... I'm gonna do more shit, which is just wild in future.
Hey, it's entertaining, it's different, and like, it's as much you having fun as anyone else.
Indeed. I think... You know what my goal is for this farm? Make it look really good.
So aesthetically?
Yeah, because like I was always about like, efficiency and making sure everything was like really like getting all my seeds in order, all of that jazz, right?
Yeah, to the point where you'd stop and actually, say, guys, I need a second to calculate this stuff.
This time around, I want a farm that I can post on a Tumblr aesthetic mood board. And you're all here to help, as always. Man! Okay, God. So weird. I'm so used to playing on that riverside farm now that I almost kind of miss having the water up north. I'm so used to it at this point. I know there's dumb chat interaction games. Oh yeah, no, true.
Yeah. Been a while since I've seen one of those. I think there's one of those. I think I've played one of those, which is Domina, where literally you're running a basically a gladiator stable kind of thing. Don't know how the chat interact with that, but I believe they do. Hell, I'll pull up Steam. Steam probably has something like Twitch interaction.
How's the music on Stardew, by the way? I don't want it to be too quiet, but I also don't want it to be drowning anything out.
Yeah, let us know, chat, please.
Oh, we have fully graduated into our regular Chillstream setup.
Just nice and relaxed.
We never go off topic and start talking about wild shit.
Never.
Here, ever. Alright, I got 15 seeds. Right, that's how this game works. Okay, so... aesthetic. Let's start off with a patch. Let's say that we wanted fence, path, this, and it'll be fence, path, this. So in theory, there. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 2. And one last row. Alright. Man, been a while.
Mm.
I was fully fucking like late game powered up in my other farm.
Yeah, and it's one of the problems with some games, particularly Terraria is one that hits me, is that it takes so long to get back to anywhere near your old power level.
Yeah.
You start so slow and shitty.
Do I not start off with the ability to create scarecrows? Damn, I forgot about that.
Yeah. To be fair, I don't think that they're mean enough to throw many crows at you early on.
Oh, you know what? I've got a funny question for chat, which relates to what we were doing earlier. What is your favorite Android? Also, I've received a donation, and I think my fucking gosh darn stream was on top of it.
Ah, crap.
I'm gonna check it because I want to thank them properly.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much.
I always forget to put my fucking alert box above my new game. It always bloody happens. I should probably be paused in game.
Time is money, Savvy.
Time is fucking money in this game. I'm getting there. It's logging in. Alert box. No wait. Recent events. Observable. Thank you very much for the $100.
What the fuck?
It is extremely appreciated. I'm gonna get on with everything. So, what's your favorite Android, guys?
Fuck. Rebecca Johnson says, I do like the design of the robot doctor in Doom. So is that... Oh, that's Dr. Hayden, I presume.
I do like Hayden's design and his voice.
Yeah.
I was surprised back when I was doing an actual fundraiser. I'm still surprised now. Even more surprised because there was no fundraiser. Thank you!
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much. Dizymus says, I feel like I'm forgetting a lot of my favorites, but Aegis is great.
Oh, I've not played Persona 3 all the way through. I need to. I have a PS2 and Persona 3. If I get a capture card, I could do it on stream. Or I could emulate it, I guess. I should emulate it. But I really like her design. I've actually been using her design for... Maybe I shouldn't share that.
Forget you heard anything, chat.
But I have been looking at her design because I quite like it. Alright. Maya... And he likes parsnips, if I'm not mistaken, because he's the tutorial birthday. New farmer, I'm Caroline. My husband in the general store. Have you met my daughter Abigail? She's the one with the purple hair.
Abigail's great.
She is cool.
Rebecca Johnson says 17 from Dragon Ball, though she is a cyborg, technically. She is called an android, though.
I think you mean 18. Because 17
Yeah,
is yeah.
17 is a guy.
Yeah, they're both very good, mind you, and also
Yes.
my bisexual self is very double thumbs up for both of them. So,
Android 21 is also very agreeable.
yes, Android 21 is a big thumbs up also. Picked a good time to move in here. Spring is lovely. Leah, I'm gonna have to decide if I'm gonna marry you again. Because...
What? We just met!
Okay, what am I gonna start with here? Cauliflower is really good for money, all things considered. I should probably check the... It's 2 PM. Do I have... I can quickly... I'm gonna quickly run to the community center. I do not remember, however, if the community center is locked. Okay.
Yeah, you need to have what's his face come around and say, "Hey, do you want to check out the community center? What was that weird rat?"
Flying by the seat of my pants, then. Cauliflower, it is. 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Do I have the ability to make myself any food? No. Wonderful. I guess I'm just going to use this time to introduce myself to people then, as you do at the start of the game.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting going to my save screen now and loading up, because there's just going to be 3 slightly different versions of me.
3 alternate realities.
Yeah. One thing I hate about Stardew is I hate interacting with people socially, and you have to get a good end. Grandpa says, "Fuck aromantics." Or unopened, I forgot his relation to. Frankly, considering how much the dev listens to people, I wouldn't be surprised if there's some way to, if like you could ask him to like put in an item in the game which is essentially like a bouquet, but the equivalent to say, I don't want to be in a relationship, I just want to experience more, heart levels with this character.
Technically, there is one for one character.
Yeah. It would be nice to see, that would be just nice to see that as an option for aromantics or asexuals in general.
Yeah. Who just want to get...
asexuals who are also aromantic, because, it's different.
Yeah.
In terms of androids, I like, sorry, because fucking ADHD brought me back to that, and I realized I didn't really answer. I very much like Aegis's design. For as much shit, for as shitty as Detroit Become Human is, Connor is actually a really good character in that game. All things considered. He's probably one of the best written parts of that game, if I'm being honest. Marcus can fuck off. I'm gonna turn down the gosh darn. Gosh down sound of the sea, because that's pretty loud. But,
The Observe All has said, if you want to play Persona 3, there are 2 options. Persona 3 Portable and Persona 3 Fez. Persona 3 Fez has better graphics and full cutscenes, but you can't control your party members, and sometimes you want to pull your hair out when they don't heal you. Persona 3 Portable is more like a visual novel, but you get to control your party members, and you do get to be a girl as well.
Why would they remove the ability to...
Because Atlas is a great company that has never done anything stupid in terms of, gender identities.
I was just going to say, why would they remove the ability to control your party members? But yes, also Atlas don't exactly have a clean slate in that regard.
Yeah, but I don't know why. It's one of those weird things where they have it as an option, and I can imagine it as a hard mode thing because, yeah, it's always defaulted to, no, you don't control them.
I'm only buying a Joja Cola because I need the energy. I do enjoy how they just phase out all of the music in there to make it feel really empty. God, I'm trying to think of actual answers outside of fucking Connor. And a character from a game I have not played. Oh, you know what? Fucking Bishop from Aliens. I love Bishop from Aliens.
He is interesting.
Also, I forget his name, but in Prometheus, and only in Prometheus, I like the android. I've expounded upon how, what's it called? Prometheus simultaneously got all of the shit it deserved and too much shit at the same time. And I'm sad that it got fucked so badly.
Let's see. Rebecca Johnson says, you know an Android I like? Robo and Chrono Trigger. And also 9S in Automata is pretty good.
Oh, of course! Fucking 2B and 9S. I still need to finish that game. But I from what I've played through so far, I adore 9S and 2B. They are so... I just love both of them. They're just... I love them. I love them. I love them. They're fantastic. I love listening to them. They have such a fun dynamic, and their conversations are always great. 9S is adorable, and I love him, and I want to squidge his cheeks. And 2B is fantastic, and
you want to squidge her cheeks too?
Yeah. No, we'll just say that. Rainy all day tomorrow, eh? A glimmer within my scrying eye. Scrying orb, a shard of knowledge from the future. Spirit is somehow mildly perturbed today. Luck will not be on your side. No mine today, then.
You don't have access to mine anyway.
I keep finding cool stuff, but my backpack is full. Does it sound like you? Yes, it does, because this game severely limits your inventory to start with. You should come to the beach sometime. Got something for you. Hell yeah, dude.
Persona 3 Portable came out after Fez, so they basically made another social link system for the female. And the main reason you don't usually get the girl option in Persona games because it's basically making another 0.5 of the game. Another half of the game. Oh, Dismas says, I also love Wolf from Metal Gear Rising.
Oh, I like Raiden as well, and Jetstream Sam, because they're... Well, no, wait. No, you're right. Blade Wolf is the only android, because the rest of them are cyborgs. That's right.
Yep.
That's right. Very fair point. Me, who thought of that while I was saying it, I guess. Let's continue. Clearing out my gosh darn farm. You know what? I might use some of this wood that I get to start with as some extra income. I've also got to remember to buy a fuck ton of wood before year 2 rolls around and the prices go up. Love when that happens. That's a small issue we should really fix.
Which?
When shit falls outside of the boundary of your farm and you just can't get it. But Savvy, you should just have a floor fort to not cut it that way. I know. But look at me. Do I look like a man who has 4 fort?
You could.
How dare you do this to me?
I'm sorry, but I can only tell you the truth, Savvy.
Hey chat, why are cyborgs and androids so cool?
I have a couple of potential answers, but I'll see what they think.
I'm probably going to end up being sucked into Stardew constantly again.
The Observer of All says, "'Cause they are." Like, valid.
Insightful.
Rebecca Johnson says, actually think non-humanoid robots are cooler.
Understandable.
Humans are boring to me. That's also very fair.
Why did I accept that quest? Oh well.
Whoops. Oh, Genos from One Punch Man.
Oh, he's cool. Yeah, he's a cool
Yeah.
cyborg. actually going to save up for the catalog first, then, I guess. If I'm going for
Isn't he a
full
cyborg?
aesthetic
He is a cyborg. Like, an extremely augmented human. Like, he used to be human. And, like, I don't know how much of him is still human. He's nearly like a Raiden situation where it is questionable at this point if he still counts.
Man, I've got to think of who I would like to be in a relationship with in this playthrough. Because I love Leah, but I want to see some of the other routes.
And in terms of why we find robots and stuff like that interesting, there's a few good reasons. One of them is that they are not limited by humanoid stuff, like just being human. So they're faster, smarter, they are stronger. Like, they have a good amount going for them.
Yeah.
The limitations that therein are also... There's also limitations and in things like their how they think, their reason and ability to come up with stuff. And this might go into a bit of something, but the fact that that one of the stereotypes for robots and cyborgs, well, not cyborgs, but androids in particular, is the fact that they are, generally speaking, inherently socially awkward. And that speaks a lot to people who would be neurodivergent in some way. And it basically lets us let's see, I don't know, someone who's a bit worse at it than us most of the time. Is there anything else?
I think you covered it. Also,
Yeah.
I didn't know that the fish tanks were in the game. That's so good.
Yeah. They have added a lot. There's also stuff like the fact that with robots and cyborgs and stuff, you can have literal jet boosters in your back or something.
Hey, chat. Do you remember the tallest man you've ever seen? Have you ever written your name in the cement? Man, it's been a while.
Sardine. Huh. Apparently Dead Cells has Twitch integration.
There, I've not particularly been interested in that game, unfortunately.
To be fair, it is actually Dead Cells is pretty damn good game, I think.
I've heard as much. It's that whole thing of like Oh, I forgot to actually take the fish. Hold on. It's more just like sometimes you just see a game and it's just not your vibe, you know?
Yeah, very fair.
But then again, sometimes I just need to get forced to play it, because there was a point where I refused to try out Divinity Original Sin 2, and then one of my friends bought it for me and went, "We're playing this," and then we started playing it weekly for basically a year.
Yeah.
We still need to get back to it, actually. But, yeah, no, that game is fantastic. I can't believe how good Divinity Original Sin 2 is.
Rebecca Johnson, my personal favorite android is an OC of mine, Uksu. It's a warforged made by and molded after lizard men.
Ooh, that's really cool. I'm curious, what like kind of Android names are you guys a fan of? Because I'm currently debating whether I want to go with like a acronym or like some fancy word, or maybe just a regular name. I'm not sure. Made the challenge of catching the legend in the first month, and I did it, and it was awesome. Yeah, no, that always feels so good. The fishing in this game is really good. I've always been a fan of it. It was the first skill I maxed out on my first farm. Can't help myself. Leah's just too good. I must try a different route for once though.
Let me see, actually, something.
I feel like one day I should really look into making a visual novel.
Ooh, that would be interesting.
Because visual novels are basically like the thing to make if you are an artist when it comes to games, right?
True, and I'll say it outright. With the artwork you've done for Chromebra, you've basically starred on that, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, it's basically, what's it called? Like, that's the kind of thing that you do with it. Yeah, that's the kind of thing you do for it. You just need to do various facial expressions and stuff, and then you do some, CGs, so that you can have something fancy to show off on screen. It's obviously still a lot of work, but but you can still make some good money out of it. But more importantly, it's enjoyable. And considering my history on this channel with visual novels, I feel like it's a perfect fit. One day I'd get round to it. The main thing for me, the only reason I haven't really considered it seriously yet, is because I feel like in order to make a visual novel, you need to have like an actual idea behind it, because it's not just make a funny it's there's so much writing involved.
Yes.
Thank you for subscribing.
Oh, thank you.
Cool. You've already done enough. Thank you so much.
Stop! Savvy's already dead.
But yeah, no, that is a goal of mine eventually, because but before that, I think I would say the first thing I'd want to do before I felt confident enough to start like getting stuck into the idea of doing a visual novel is I want to get to a point with my art where I am fast enough and confident enough with it that I could happily do comics. Because the thing about comics, a specific kind of them, is that you can do them and then just sell them on Gumroad, and then it's basically just passive income, So it's very much like that's the and that the amount of work involved in doing a comic is something which I think matches up pretty well with doing a visual novel,
Yeah. One thing that the Observer Hall says is you could ask Glass. She did make Pizza Game.
Plaster, you mean?
Yeah, plaster. They're both materials. Damn it. Glass is also cool. I really like Glass Rose.
They are cool.
She's fun.
indeed. What if I put it in this chest? Let's just stick it here for now. I can always relocate it. There we go. It was indeed plaster, because plaster is Jello's sister. Hell yeah! Yeah. Honestly, the main thing with it is that I know for a fact that, like, game development in the first place is so much more than anyone ever expects. And so, like, oh, you bitch! Fuck off.
Damn it.
How do I get the recipe? I want that recipe fucking now. Anyway, it's probably a foraging thing or something. Anyway, early game. What does it matter? When
It's learned at crafted at farming level 1.
Ah, right. Yeah, when it comes to video game development, there's so much to it that nobody ever realizes, and like. When I was a kid, when I was a teenager, I thought, oh, it's fucking a piece of piss, you just whatever. And you thought, and you were always, it's always so easy to be the ideas man, to just be like, oh, I have this idea, and it's going to be this game which has a ridiculous amount of scope to it, but I have no idea exactly how much it actually takes to put together something of that scope, so I'm just going to sit here and be the ideas man and pretend that I know that how much money it takes. But it doesn't. But I don't. That kind of shit. But so like when it comes to this, I very much am trying to like overestimate how much work it's gonna take, because the main thing to like remember is it's not just portraits. It's backgrounds, it's CGs, it's it's all of this nonsense. God, how do you half a stack? There we go. Nice! Anyway. So if I did go into it, I'd really want to make sure that I'm properly... The main thing you'd want to do is, first and foremost, you'd want to basically have a roadmap of, like, itemized list of the things that are needed in order to develop a fucking game. And part of that is going to be that you'll need to know what the story is, and thus you're going to have to be able to say, okay, well, it's going to be having these locations, so it'll need this much, right? Like, for example, Hustle Cat, which we've played on this channel. Hustle Cat was really smart about it. Their story hook was based around the idea that there is, like, that it's based around the idea that everything is tied to a central location, which is the Cat Cafe. So, realistically, you only end up with a handful of locations that anyone would reasonably have their conversations, because like the majority of what's going on is around the Cat Cafe. So that's a really smart way to go about it. You pick a location, you stick to it, and you just do various ambient locations surrounding it. So it takes a lot of planning, I'm aware of the kind of work that it takes, but it's so definitely something right up my alley. I would love to do that, because I feel like it would be a really excellent way to just have something of mine out there in the ether for people to just come across, outside of my streams. And it is just such a... I feel like you can create such interesting worlds that way. And I feel like it picks up a more interested market than just, like, random book readers, Like, there is people who look for visual novels because they're into them, i.e. myself, It is something ultimately that I would really like to do. I've been rambling on for it long enough now.
I will say, the idea of doing a visual novel would be very, very interesting, considering we have a good number of friends who are also good at writing.
Yeah. And I mean, I run games and everything, so like it's really just a matter of I've got to find a thing that I'm interested in writing about.
Yeah.
And then I could have all my friends to help me with the feedback on the art and on the writing, and we could see how it goes, you know? The difficulty often comes from the whole thing of like, okay, well, it needs to be a setting that I'm enthusiastic about. You know, what's something that I feel that I could write a lot about and stick to it. Because it's a lot of work.
Yes. And also, I guess there's also the fact of making multiple characters that the that the player would want to interact with. And, well, if we're going, okay, it's a visual novel as opposed to a dating sim, so I was going to say find attractive, but that's not as important.
Well, either or, honestly. I'm interested in either, you know. Oh, fuck, that's a goddamn shitty artifact, isn't it?
Yeah.
Forgot I actually have to care about this junk to begin with.
But yeah, because, and like, depending on how you wanted to do the visual novel, it could have multiple routes and stuff, so it is a lot of writing. And some of it will be okay because, okay, we branch at section 26C or something, but, and like up until then it's all the same. But you have to come up with so many different variables and figure out what happens here, what happens there, etc., etc.
That if you do have stuff like lots of the same writing, i.e. Hustle Cat, you want to make that painless for people.
Yeah.
And that requires knowledge of how to work, you know, game UI and stuff like that. I would probably have to talk to someone or hire in someone who knows how to sort out systems like that, because I'm not a fucking game designer. I don't know how to use these goddamn... Like, there's stuff that makes it easy for you. There's, like, engines and stuff that can just, like, you just plug in your text and your images and stuff and it does it. But that's not robust enough. Like, if you look at Pizza Game that Plaster made, God bless Plaster. Plaster clearly is, you know, is very clearly an avid visual novel fan, which people don't seem to understand, because clearly she fucking is, because the whole fucking thing is like a love letter, like a jokey, ribbing love letter of all of the stupid tropes of them, right? She doesn't hate them, she likes them. And how do you know that she likes them? Because there is so fucking many quality of life things in that game.
And also, like, why would you put as much effort as Plaster did into something you despise?
People have gotten too used to the idea of high effort shit posts, you know? And they just assume that if something is in any way critical, even in a positive sense, then it's just a high effort shit post, you know?
Yeah, but to me, at that point, even if it is a high effort shit post, it becomes its own thing, because when you put that much effort into it, either you have a motivation that rivals, that would actually be able to move mountains with nothing but your forehead, or you actually really have something to say and you really like. Yeah, Dismas says, I don't see how some people can see Pizza Game as a grand attack against the entire medium. Like, yes, there's obvious deliberate nods and obvious deliberate thumbed noses towards things like how it's, you know, hasn't been spell checked. And like deliberate bad spelling kind of stuff, but there's stuff like there are fucking mini games. How many visual novels actually have mini games in them? And the Observer's All is asking, what is a high effort shitpost? Or like, what is a shitpost?
shitposts are just like... I'm trying to think of an example of a game which is like a shitpost. A shitpost is basically like a joke which from the outset they know is not funny and is like just kind of like the lowest hanging fruit, I guess is what I'd call it. God, I'm really struggling to think of exactly how to define a shitpost. It's like being a big memer, you know, you're just like, oh, I'm being a real big memer right now, you know? Like where you're going out to make a joke purely for like, oh, I'm being such a big meme lord right now, right? That kind of energy. Shitposting is the kind of thing that you do on 4chan, you know? And so when you're doing a shitpost game, it's like you're going into something with the intention of being a big haha meme lord, right? So it's not it's not serious, it doesn't have a lot of like thought behind it. It's just very brain dead, I guess you could say. I guess that's the closest I'd say. See, the KFC visual novel doesn't qualify because that was actually made by KFC, right?
Yeah, it was marketing.
That was marketing. That was them attempting to be like, ooh, meme, you know, whatever. You know what's no. God, it's difficult because even like Hatoful Boyfriend, that's not a shitpost. That is once again, people think it's a high effort shitpost, but it's not. It's actually like another like kind of it's like another commentary.
It develops into its own, and even then it develops into its own thing because the joke stops being a joke. It actually becomes serious if you go far enough.
So like Super Bembo Quest, I guess, is a shitpost game.
What was that drawing one you did?
Doodle Date.
Does that count?
Shitpost. Doodle Date a shitpost. I don't know if I'd call Doodle Date a shitpost so much as just a parody.
Yeah.
There's such a specific energy to a shitpost.
Yeah. And to me, a part of it is low effort. I don't understand how there's such thing as a high effort shitpost.
Yeah. But people seem to have gotten the idea that you can do that.
What was the... there is a particular term for a game that is literally deliberately made badly. And like, it literally is... its translation is from Japanese in like something like shitty game. But apart from that, like those are games that are made to be terrible, and I don't understand those personally. But yeah, if you put enough time and effort into something and call it a shitpost, I don't know if it counts as a shitpost.
There's one thing I've learned is don't make your game like fucking an octave higher. Jesus.
Yep. We'd explain it to you, but it would take three blocks of text.
What a fucking joke. I will, at any and all opportunities, shit on that game. And I will now, once again. For those who are not aware or who are uninitiated, there was a point when we were particularly big on visual novels. We still are, but, you know, we haven't got any running at the moment. But we were just doing them back to back to back. Like, I think we did Valhalla, followed by Hustle Cat, followed by an octave higher, which was quickly cancelled and replaced with
Was it
Analog a Hate Story? Analog a Hate Story. We then rolled into 2066 ROM, but that turned out to be a point-and-click adventure, which I had issues with. can't. Did we do a visual novel after that?
I need to look it up.
I don't know if we did. I know we came back to Valhalla. Oh, fucking Coffee Talk. Oh,
Yeah, coffee talk.
talk about a fucking top tier visual novel. What a fucking
Yeah.
love it. Mwah. My mwah, love that game. Oh, Red Strings Club. That game.
Yeah, Red Strings Club as well.
That game drove me to tears in a way that no other piece of media, or very few other pieces of media, have managed. An octave higher, however. So I'm gonna take a second and acknowledge that the main reason, for people who don't know, that we stopped playing that was because basically, now I will qualify this. There was basically gonna be, we basically found out that there was a scene of sexual assault coming up.
Yeah.
I looked into it, and while it wasn't like egregious, it was definitely still that. Like it was not anything else, you know. And now here's the thing. I am not saying that a game cannot do that, right? But one, you have to have something to say about it. And two, it can't just be, ooh, look at the bad thing this bad man did and look at how much it hurt this person, you know? You can't just, that can't be it. But more importantly, holy shit, don't have one of your 3 main playable characters be the one doing it to another one of the characters, and also be someone that you are expected to continue playing and empathize with without addressing that at all. Because I looked into it, and apparently it just doesn't get fucking addressed. It just doesn't, it's just not a part of his character arc. You are just playing an asshole. With no, like, it's just not, that's the issue we took with it, right? That we were expected to be playing with this guy, playing as this guy, and still like, okay, who knows? Maybe the game goes out of its way, you know, throughout it, to basically make it clear that you're meant to think this guy is an asshole, right? But I don't think that's the case. I don't, because he's not the villain or anything. He's just a rich snob. He's a rich cunt, you know, that's it. I can't, maybe it doesn't ask you to empathize with him. I certainly don't think it was doing something as intriguing as making you play the villain. I didn't see that as what it was trying to do. Regardless, not the way to fucking do it. You don't just do it to show how bad of a person somebody is. Okay, now that that's out of the way, yeah, that's a deal breaker. I think we can all agree on that, right? Fuck me, it's a poorly written game. Fuck me, it's so badly written. Even before that happened, right? We were, oh my god,
Bored out of your minds.
we were dragging our fucking heels through it, right? Because to give you, there's stilted exposition, there's over exposition, there's over explanation, and then there's all of it wrapped into a bow, right? The worst present you could ever hope for. My god, it was terrible, right? Stilted dialogue doesn't even cover it. Hey, here's a question for everybody in chat. Now, okay. Again, I'm going to qualify this because I know that I've personally had some conversations like this in the past, right? So, sometimes you're on the bus and you have a moment of just being like, wow, it's really crazy how this new piece of technology is, right? And you go like, yeah, man, phones are getting so crazy these days. Or like, man, we sure do just like have fucking, like, you know, gas pipes in our home and it's just like normal. Like sometimes you have conversations like that, right? I'm not gonna deny that. That legitimately happens. Do you know what doesn't happen? You don't sit on the bus with your friend and go, hey, so you know that common concept that we're all aware of, i.e. Electricity? And you go, yeah, I know about electricity. And then you go, man, it's crazy how it was, like, invented, like, this many years ago by this person. Yeah, but how does it work again? Oh, right, yeah, no, so it's like done, it's all, you make a generator which is composed of these different parts, and what happens is you take the AC and the DC current, which are two different things, and transformers help a lot in that process as well. But basically, by virtue of the conductivity of wires and metal, we can actually transfer that power from generator facilities into our homes, which allows us to light our ovens using pilot lights. Oh wow, so they're electric? No, actually, we combine it with gas, which is dug up from the earth. They're in gas pockets alongside oil. We have big drills that go down into the ground, and they siphon out the gas in order to and we store it, we put it away, and then we put it into these big vats, and we do pipes through our homes, and it puts it into, we pay for that, and then we have gas in our homes, and then we use the pilot light from the generator facilities in order to light that gas and turn it into a hob, thus allowing us to cook our foods in the comfort of our own home. Wow!
I'm kind of impressed you did that all off the cuff, but at the same time, yeah, that really highlights just how fucking bad it was. Just
no one
talks like that.
Again, I'm not saying that people haven't had conversations akin to the idea of, like, exploring, like, how wild it is that we have this piece of technology. Right?
Yeah, it's a question of, hey, have you ever thought about the fact that we're carrying around basically the internet in our pocket and the ability to contact anyone, use a calculator, hey, look up dictionaries and stuff, like, shit's wild. That's fine.
Yeah, like, that is legitimately a fine, like, and that is all the explanation you need, right? In what world does the...
Who turns around and asks, what do you mean?
And then you just go through the fucking history of how phones came to be, starting with electricity and microchips and computers and everything. Like, no. Fucking Christ. I'm not kidding that conversation I just had with myself there is basically an exact fucking conversation that happens in-game. Two people just sit on the bus and explain how their magic allows them to have ovens.
And clocks. You know, the thing that we've never heard of. What the fuck's a clock, Savvy?
I'm not doing it again. It's just so...
Yeah, it's just... And, like, it's not... You know, it would be acceptable if it was something like, okay, we actually have this piece of high-tech fantasy that doesn't exist in our world. We have a thing that genuinely we don't have an equivalent for in our world. So stuff like personal flying machines, potentially.
Yeah.
We'd have a bit more time to say, okay, give me some of the intrinsics of this. But for something like, this is an oven. This is explicitly an oven.
Yeah.
Stop telling me how your fucking oven works.
Like, and here's the thing, right? In terms of it's called suspension of disbelief. If you've shown me a world where you have fire fucking magic, I'm not sitting here going, but how do they have ovens though? How do they have ovens? Do you know where it comes from as well? I am getting heated about this. It comes from people like fucking CinemaSins. I know that it's just the fucking meme to shit on that guy, right? But he is genuinely, and alongside Nostalgia Critic, he is not exempt from this. They are legitimately detrimental to people's critical thinking because it makes people think that not explaining how your world has working ovens is somehow a detriment to your story. Guess what? Suspension of disbelief is there so that you don't have to spend 6 fucking paragraphs talking about how your various magic and all of its intricacies. Like, fuck, I'm getting heated. I'm an avid world builder, okay? I have an entire D&D setting of my own, right? And I have an entire fucking system behind why necromancy works the way it does, why it is an exception from other types of magic. I have an entire fucking... I could write easily pages about it because it has a whole fucking history. But I don't... What? I would never sit in a game and have a casual conversation with an NPC and a player, or two NPCs, and have them talking to each other about the history of why necromancy works the way it does. Again, I have that information because if I want to make a plot hook surrounding it, and I have made plot hooks surrounding the way that necromancy works and such, then that's when it becomes relevant. When your players are encouraged to seek out the information and to have it relevant to what they're doing. The way ovens work is not fucking relevant to what you're doing in that game. Because here's the trick, right? You can do exposition like that. Exposition like that when you're writing is doable. It is possible to give that level of detail that you've spent lots of time and effort and care into crafting. We all get that way. It's so easy to get granular when you're world building. I understand it. And you want people to see it sometimes. I get it. But you have to make the people who are involved in your story are not going to care if you are just fucking jamming it down their throat so unnaturally. You can give it to them. You just have to have it be relevant, right? Like, here's the thing. There was like some whole fucking plot. Again, I don't remember because it was kind of poorly done. But not that poorly done. There was a whole instance, right, where you are literally watching a dude give a fucking project proposal in order to get funding for his science, right? For his science project. It's like, that's a clinical thing, right? But you know what? I was interested in that. I listened to that. I read through that and I tried to internalize as much of it as possible. You know why? Because it was important to the character. That was something that the character was actually concerned with when it comes to his motivations and when it comes to his goals, right? He is invested in receiving that funding because that is his passion. That is what he's looking into. Even if he's a little bit disinterested in it, that is what he is about, right? And in that moment, you can explain some stuff about the world, right? Maybe his fucking project actually does have to consider the way that something like an oven works in their world, right? So during his proposal, he could go through a whole thing of like, oh, well, so we all know how this works. And then you go, oh, here we go again. Why is he saying that if he's saying we all know it? But then he goes, and the reason I'm re-establishing the way that ovens work is because I'm using a concept within the way that ovens work in our world as a basis for my area of study right here. I.e., let's say we all know that magic, that the two power words that we use in order to incite an oven into becoming an oven, right? Like, that's the way it works. But my research is concerned with what happens if we use the same rune, but then we use some new thing we've discovered, right? All of a sudden, you've just fucking told me about how your ovens work in your world. And I'm actually interested, because the main thing that this character is talking about is concerns it, right? And outside of that, I really fucking hope that science thing was actually relevant to the game, because if it was not, it was more just fucking lore dick stroking, which is fucking ridiculous. I didn't realize how enthusiastic I was about writing, because god damn, man,
when you see bad examples of it, it just gets up your nose, and I understand that.
Absolutely, it's just a disaster. Like, the worst thing you can do is just fucking, like, the worst thing you can do is just throw exposition at your players or your readers or whatever for the fuck of it, because you go, I worked on this and I think that they should appreciate it. And it's just not how it works. I really despised how that game was written. Not to mention, I think it was several hours in before it introduced the fucking affinity mechanic, because it was more concerned with being like, oh, this is how ovens work. Jesus. Can you tell that I don't like it?
I got the impression.
Let's see. I like kale. I know it's not that efficient, but I like kale. 6 days. Fuck yeah. Yeah, let's do 10 of those. Potatoes are good as well. Lovely. Wiped out. Let's do this. Sadly, that good example of exposition you just pulled out kind of reminds me of how Arknights handles its lore. Fair enough. I would check it out if I wasn't so 100% definitely sure that I would spend more money than I have on that game. I've done my time with League of Legends, dude. Also,
well, Arknights. Yeah, sorry, I got mixed up for a second.
Yeah. Also, I'm just kind of a little burnt out on, like, Japanese fantasy settings, you know? Fantasy in general, I'm a little burnt out on.
Yeah. And one of the problems is I do enjoy fantasy, but there's so much out there that could be that you can have. And like that's one thing about Japanese fantasy settings is that quite often they will try to put some big twist on it. So what was it again? So for example, Final Fantasy. All of those things are technically fantasy. You have Final Fantasy V, which is, you know, basic standard-ass D&D-esque fantasy. Then you have Final Fantasy VII, and it's like, wait a minute, how the fuck is this related?
Yeah.
You have Final Fantasy VIII, which is an even more modern time. You have Final Fantasy X, which is in a complete alternate reality where technology went a completely different way. Like,
yeah, for all of my criticisms of Final Fantasy, I will at least say that of all of the actual fantasy worlds that I've seen, even if I'm not particularly interested in the majority of Final Fantasy, they're cool, they're interesting, I like them, they try something different, you know? But, I mean, there's a reason Final Fantasy X Part 2 is legitimately one of my favorite games, you know? Speaking of which, I've been trying... I still need to book in the new stream of that.
Yeah, I actually wasn't... The reason I brought Final Fantasy is that I was in a different chat where I got Espers and Eidolons mixed up, because Final Fantasy can't fucking decide on a term for summons. So that's why I had that on my mind. I wasn't trying to force the other thing.
Yeah, no, it's good. Yeah, no. One day, I should probably run fuck. I should probably run a D&D game in my setting on my channel, because I really need to show that off. I've only actually run I've only ever run it on offline, actually. And, feel like I definitely want to show it off. Got some... Because, for those that don't know about it, which is probably all of you, my main thing is, as I was developing my D&D setting over the years, my primary thing that I got more and more frustrated with is that it was just still boring and, like, standard, and yet I still wanted to play D&D, and it was like, okay, how do I do this, then? How do I resolve those two desires of I want to play regular D&D, but also I want it to be new and interesting? And so I started to basically cut out and excise all of the standard Tolkien-esque stuff, and I only kept the things I liked, and then I made up a bunch of new races. So the only stuff which carries over is Tieflings and Aesamar, which still work completely differently in terms of rules, because I have a whole thing about how angels and devils work in my setting. There's Lizard Folk and Filar, which, the Filar, I think, are called Tabaxi or something in the regular game. They have their own twists, and they're probably the least interesting of my races. Lizar, however, the Lizard Folk, they they are actually the most common race in my world because I love lizard men, and I thought I'd play into that. But then the rest of the races are completely just my own making, and I'm very happy with them, and I do want to show them off at some point.
Yeah, because unfortunately I can't remember off the top of my head, but I know the ones that I have heard are really cool sounding.
I've got to try and... It's been a while since I thought about them, actually. I'm going to try and remember their names. 4:20 p.m., nice. But I've got Graxari. Graxari.
There was a kind that was specifically...
Kresh.
They were directly related to festivals or events.
Yes, those are the Riala. Those are basically...
Riala.
The easiest way to summarize them is they are life elementals. So any instances of large gatherings of people, or even small gatherings which are just particularly, you know, lots going on, they will essentially show up like a number of days later, maybe even months later. A life elemental will just show up where the event happened, and they will basically be a culmination of the emotions that surrounded that event. They are a rarer race in my setting.
Yes, because it would probably take a lot of life energy.
Let me think about the summaries of all of my various stuff. So Graxari are four-armed people who have skin that is made of arcanic dust, and if it's hit with and if they are hit with particularly powerful spells, there is a chance that they inscribe that spell into their skin naturally. The Kresh are essentially kind of porcupine people. They have quills. They don't like have, you know, porcupine faces or whatever, but they have quills, and they have these. They have 2 tongues, and they have long ass tails. Then there is. God, I'm trying to fucking remember all of them. Been ages. Maybe I should just open my doc that I have. Hold on, I'm just gonna fucking open it. Savvy. Go. Oh, the Avar, which are bird people, but specifically they're based off of I think they're called bearded vultures and cassowaries. So they have the ability, they can basically do sonic yelling and sonic shouting. And they're also very aggressive.
Gotta go fast!
And then there's the Fractari. The Fractari are based on Graxari. Sorry, the Fractari were my answer to Dragonborn. Because I still wanted dragons in my setting, but I changed them around. They're much rarer, and their skin is made of unique gems. So they are powerful, but they are hunted, and they pretty much always go into hiding. But Fractari are basically the Dragonborn version of those dragons. So similarly, their skin is extremely valuable, but the gems on their skin also interact weirdly with magic. So they can do stuff like reflect it, store it, fractalize it, diffuse it, all of that kind of thing, negate it. Really powerful. And one of their alternate races outside of what their gems do is being a flayed one, where basically they were at one point caught, skinned, and survived.
Oof.
Yeah, because people hunt them down in order to take their gems, because literally every single Fractari's skin is priceless.
Yeah, I can imagine. But normally, I'm going to be honest, you don't normally survive skinning.
They can. But yeah, it is Imagine Bijou, but like literally 1000%. It's literally every inch of their body.
Bijou is great.
But yeah, and so basically their whole thing is they don't have breath weapons. They have different ways of interacting with spells that hit their skin. But yeah. I have a whole pantheon as well that I wrote up. All of my own gods and everything, where my main thing about writing up all of those gods was giving all of them some kind of contradictory domains. So my favorite example of that, because it is just a direct contrast, and he's the weirdest one, is my god Zillus, who is the god of avarice and altruism.
Ah, you said that a bit too fast and I got excited. Godzillus.
Godzillus. God. But yeah.
There goes Tokyo.
The game that I talked about on Stabiness led into the setting that I created. There was a lot of stuff that I developed in that game which became, primary parts of my setting. And the maps that I used for that world are in my actual world maps now. So yeah, no, that it's definitely tied to it. But you may have noticed in that story time that I did on Stabiness, there was a dwarf, an elf, and that kind of thing in the party, and so it was before I had developed any of my unique races or anything. But it was when I had started developing all of my gods. So oh man, it's pretty late on my end as well, actually.
Yeah. Getting kind of
wrap this up here. See how much money I made. And call it. Level 1 fishing.
Ooh, level 1 fishing. Nice.
I'd like level 1 farming.
Yeah. You're raking it in, Savvy. To be fair, it always starts slow.
Yes, dog. Let's check out what event is going to happen. Yeah, dog. I always find it funny how if you pause the game while the dog is in the middle of barking, he just sits there vibrating.
That is what dogs do.
I'm gonna have to do that again next time because I'm not actually continuing now. But
yeah, but still, it's good to have just a chill stream game. Yeah. Because sometimes, like today, you wanted to stream something, or you were going to stream something, and stuff happened.
Yeah, indeed. Oh well, thanks for joining us on this fucking wild stream, guys. If you're new here, then join our Discord. You can see when we're going live with stuff, including the game that was meant to happen today, Kremrai, which is a TTRPG game set in a modern fantasy setting based off, using the epithet system, which you may know from Epithet Erased. Yes, I know, dog. Yeah, I know. Also, I think it's com. Yeah. I will be opening my comms soon because I'm finally back in action. My hand is actually working and I'm actually drawing my Patreon rewards, so keep an eye out on that. I also have a Patreon if you would like.
You had one recently, didn't you?
Yeah,
you should go check out Sally's Twitter to see his Chainsaw Man.
Yeah. yeah, with all that done, say goodbye to stream.
See ya. You all take care.